Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's HaQ&A video, HaQ&A 60 I believe. So yeah, we got plenty of comments this week on, I think, a couple different series. I don't really know the exact number this week. But yeah, we'll talk about those comments, and first, before the general comments and all that, I guess, let's talk about some announcements. Also, I wanted to say really good comments this week. I was laughing a lot, having a lot of fun answering all of you, especially the past few days. It's been great. But yeah, some announcements. Fear the Walking Dead's coming back soon. I'm going to be trying to review it because I feel so bad sometimes when I'm like, man, I haven't had a Walking Dead video in a long time. I haven't had a Pokemon video in a long time, and I'm like, I feel like a number of subscribers may have come from either of those series, especially since Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead was something I was covering when I was first getting started and kind of a building stone for the channel, so I feel bad not doing videos on it very much, but I will be trying to review Fear when it comes back, maybe on Tuesdays. I know the episodes come out Sunday nights, but Mondays are already busy for me between Tower of God and Woolwich Academia. So maybe, at least for now, the reviews of that will be on Tuesday. Maybe later. I don't know. I'll be trying to review them at least. That's the best I can do. Unless nobody wants it. If nobody wants it, then, I guess it is what it is, and I'll do something else. Also, starting a new thing going on that I will at least call the Summer of Waifus. Pretty much nobody said they want that 2016 top anime waifu video. Nobody wants it anymore. It's too late for that. So pretty much what it was, well, kind of, and I've already explained before, but I'll throw it out again really briefly. Sometime between Christmas and January 7th, which is my birthday, somewhere between then, every year, I will be posting a video that is going to be my updated top 50 anime waifu video. And it's just going to be my top 50 overall, and each year we'll see how it changes, how I think differently about different characters, and how new series affect me. And at the end of last year, or I think my cutoff date is going to be fall of each year, since the winter season of each year, or no, it'll be summer of each year, since fall season of each year won't be done by the beginning of It won't be done by the beginning of December, and the beginning of December is when I plan to start work on the video each year. Maybe I'll even start earlier than that, since I have all fall season to work on it. So yeah, that's how I plan to do it. And basically, I didn't get to do it this year, but I had watched 66 anime up to the end of up to the beginning of December last year. So from starting, I guess, today or tomorrow through the next 66 days, each day I will post 66, then 65, then 64 until I count down my top waifus of 2016. And then I guess the 2017 list will be when we first start doing the video each year. And then leading up to the video each year, I'll be posting like the non-top 50, the honorable mentions but didn't quite make it up there. So it's just something I want to do, like a fun yearly thing for the channel, like, because I started the channel in January, so I feel like it's sort of like a channel anniversary thing each year, kind of. But either way, that's my ideas for it at least, and I'm going to be doing the Summer of Waifus and posting it on Twitter just because that's much easier since I don't have time to make the video once a day, like I said. Also, just talking about some general stuff, this anime season is damn good. I am quite enjoying myself. Basically, I caught up since the last HaQ&A. I've caught up to Akashic Records, and I'm watching Zero Kara Hajimeru Maho no Sho. Oh my gosh, I hope that's the name of it. Grimoire of Zero. And I'm really enjoying that as well. I like the main character. I like a lot. The mercenary, he's really cool. Yeah, I guess I like him a lot. Zero is a cool character as well. Just in general, it's a fun series so far, and I'm almost caught up to it. And I wanted to bring up anime here, because this morning I finally got time to watch episode 9 of Frame Arms Girl. and it was so good. It made me so happy watching it. And I think that's the reason I had said on Twitter before, I was like, I know I'm going to piss some people off with this, but I like Frame Arms Girl this season more than Attack on Titan Season 2. And I was like, I know I'm going to piss some people off saying that, but Frame Arms Girl has made me feel happy every time I watched it and really enjoy it, laugh, have a good time. Whereas with Attack on Titan, it's been good, but it hasn't really made me feel anything. Like most shows this season, with the exception of Attack on Titan, maybe Clockwork Planet and Akashic Records, they've been good. I've enjoyed all three of them. I've had fun watching all three of them, but they haven't really made me feel strongly anything in particular. So yeah, episode 9, Frame Arms Girl was so good, and I realize every time I talk about Frame Arms Girl, like on Twitter and everything, I always have to spell it out because I'm like, I can't just FHE and giant capital letters to abbreviate it every time. People will be getting so confused. But yeah, because I enjoyed it so much, this week's bonus. Sorry of you that aren't going to get this. Sorry for you that you're not going to get this because you don't watch. Will be my top Frame Arms Girl waifus. Basically, going to go through the kind of 8 main characters from least to most favorite really quick. Architect is at the bottom because even though I really like Architect and she is still quite waifu, just out of the 8, the least interesting to me. Next up would be Stylet. Mostly, I like Stylet once again. I think she's really cute, but I also feel like it's a character archetype, the sort of tsundere that she is something that we've seen kind of a lot. Next up would be Bukiko in like 6th place. Bukiko's cute. 5th place, Jinrai. How is an eye patch girl not higher up? But Jinrai's cute, but again, she falls into sort of this like the whole manly warrior girl, well, that was a terrible way to put it, kind of trope as well. 4th place is Gorai, because Gorai is cute, adorable, and innocent, very naive. 3rd place, the Materia sisters. I'm counting Kuro and Shiro as one waifu unit, because the two of them pretty much aren't shown in separate things. They don't have separate relationships and stuff. They're pretty much a unit. So Materia sisters, click, 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 all of my clicks. 2nd place, Ao, because Ao is great. She's a good lead. I guess she would be considered the main lead even over Gorai. But she's really fun and enjoyable to watch, and pretty much all we've seen of her is this whole like really casual hanging around the house kind of stuff, and that's the kind of thing that I guess I like most in girls. But I guess as far as style goes, I kind of like the whole just casual whatever kind of style. I'm interested in that. And number 1, best girl. Best girl, the girl who would be too small to ever love, Basilard-chan. Poor little Basilard. She's my favorite. Genius, Tensai. Seeing them all as real girls in this episode was great, and Basilard, top girl. So yeah, that is it, and we have a couple general comments I wanted to talk about. First off, Precursor said, I'm planning to read the light novel of Suka. So far I like the anime, and I believe it was Marco Polo also said that they are reading the light novel. I'll be checking out the anime soon, and I have heard great things, and you guys saying that you are involved in the series makes me like it even more. I want to watch it even more. So that's going to be probably one of the next ones I watch. It's going to be one of the sooner ones I watch, because it's one that I've just heard so many good things about. And then secondly, Joe K said about Boku no Hero Academia, but I'm putting this in the general section because it doesn't really have to do with the plot of Boku no Hero Academia, but rather general planning stuff for the channel that affects the channel as a whole. They said, nice, good job on catching up. And although I wasn't here when you started the read-through, it went by a lot faster than I expected. By the way, are you planning to read through other series after this? Just curious, I'll flip through your Q&As and other videos later to see if you've spoken on the topic before. I'm sure I have, but things are so crazy that plans change constantly. Just because, yeah, we have so many series coming in and out that I try to cover so many series that plans change so often. It's been a good few months, though. I don't even remember when I started the read-through, but I think it was probably in, like, August or something. It was a long time ago. Months and months, at least. A good few months. Yeah. I do know that I'm going to read other series after this for the channel, but I'm not sure how yet. It's going to be a while. It's not going to be within the next few weeks. I almost replaced the end of weeks with the end of next. But yeah, not for the next few weeks. I probably won't be reading anything new. But currently, we were doing the Boku no Hero Academia read-through week to week. We added on the Magical Girl Raising Project read-through week to week. And I decided, holy crap, 2 read-throughs week to week is too much. I cannot handle this, but I'll pump through at least until we catch up to Boku no Hero Academia. So now that I'm caught up, I don't plan on doing any more than 1 weekly read-through, and that's going to be Magical Girl Raising Project for now. So when I catch up to Magical Girl Raising Project and I'm up to current times with that, I can replace that with another series for the weekly read-through. Of course, that may change, though, because depending on the anime season, my schedule changes each anime season. So if I get a schedule one season where I'm like, I have an extra day or some extra time, I might just be like, okay, maybe I'll just use that extra time to do a second read-through. So that's possible as well. And also I do plan to make read-through videos for the Boku no Hero Academia spin-off manga. I forget what it was called. I can easily look it up. So you don't have to comment. I'm just warning you guys. You don't have to comment and tell me what it's called. I'm going to look it up whenever I read it anyway. But I'm going to be reading the Illegals. That's what it is, I think. But I'm going to be reading that for read-through videos, but I'm not going to be posting it on any kind of schedule. I'm just going to do a read-through video just whenever I have time for it. So again, probably not in the next few weeks, since next week and kind of this week-ish, they're going to be kind of busy times with a lot of stuff coming out, because the first week of every month we have a lot of new stuff coming out. I just caught up with Boku no Hero Academia, and I'm going to have to make a second video on it tomorrow. Well, maybe the same day I'm posting this, Wednesday, but tomorrow, or Thursday, but tomorrow from when I'm recording this, which is Wednesday. I'm going to have to be doubling down that. It'd be 2 Boku no Hero Academia videos in 1 week. Then we're just starting Fear the Walking Dead, like I said earlier, so I'm going to be adding that into the schedule somewhere. So I'm kind of just, not at least for the next 2 weeks until all of that settles down. But that's it. Sorry if I got a little rambly at times, but that's just it for the general stuff, keeping you updated with the channel and all. And the first series we're talking about this week is Recreators. I'm giving it its own section here, kind of, I guess, mostly, sort of, because if you guys want to discuss any anime that I said I've seen or been watching this season, or anything you want me to watch, just throw comments down, we can talk about it, and they can go in the HaQ&A. It doesn't have to be a weekly reviewed series for us to talk about it, and for us to talk about it in the HaQ&A and have some discussion here as well. So yeah, basically, and if it doesn't contain spoilers, don't worry about it, but if it contains spoilers for that series, no matter what series it is, just say spoiler warning, then throw a couple empty lines down there, and then type out whatever you want to say. Just so people scrolling through that don't want spoilers for that particular series don't click on it. Or say spoilers for insert series here or something, and then throw them so that people know. But yeah, either way, I guess that's about the best explanation I've got. But Deshaun Gamble said, what are your thoughts on the latest episode of Recreators? So here are some thoughts I had. First off, I've thought for a while now that Mamika was potentially, I didn't know if this was going to be the kind of show where they kill off major characters or not, but if it was going to be that kind of show, I felt like Mamika was the most likely to die. And there were 2 big reasons I had for her being most likely to die. First of all, other characters struggled with their morality and right and wrong and all that in the situation, good and evil, whatever. But Mamika hasn't really struggled with that. She's always been good. She struggled with right or wrong. She struggled with, is it right to listen to this person or to listen to this person? But she's never ever struggled with good or evil. She's always been good to people, never wanted to hurt or be bad to people. So she struggled with right or wrong, but never good or evil. She hasn't done anything to make fans of the show not like her. Whereas, say, Alistaria, for example, who is important to this point, is constantly struggling internally. She's always like, doesn't know if what she's doing is right or not, or if she's willing to do things that aren't right in order to achieve her goal. But then Mamika's been there in a lot of scenes trying to open her up, emotion-wise, character-wise. So because of that, it's sort of like a mentor-like relationship in an emotional way, and that almost always ends in death. Like popular characters like Mami Tomoe, and I've thought from the beginning that because of the name Mamika and the magical girl design, Mami Tomoe may have had some input, like some inspiration for the design. But I felt like Mami Tomoe and just Kamina from Gurren Lagann, they're characters that had a similar role in their story to bring another character sort of to never stray from certain ideals until those ideals are imprinted on other characters, and then dying to leave those characters to either take up the ideals or not. So she has that sort of role. And secondly, the other reason I thought she was most likely to die is her appearance, I guess. She was pretty much... she was a cute magical girl. Of course, that would mean you want her to die a horrible death, probably the least. And she did things like save fan-loved or very important characters and just do good guy things. She pretty much did only things that fans would look at positively and not negatively. So if a death is put in a series to move the audience, to make them feel something, to make them feel sad, who else is going to be the one that makes them feel the most sad by killing off, other than the cute, naive little magical girl who has only done, in the audience's view, good things. So, yeah. But why I said the ending shocked me is because I wasn't expecting the magical splash nuke. Now, I think the magical, like, Mamika dying would have been maybe kind of predictable, but good writing. I thought it would have been great writing. But her setting off the heart nuke, it makes me feel like she could possibly survive alongside Altair. I'm pretty much 100% certain Altair is surviving, of course. But even if Mamika dies, well, even if this Mamika dies, Mamika doesn't die. Because, I mean, as long as her creator keeps writing the story and keeps her alive in the story, she'll always be alive in the story world, technically. And the version brought into the real world, like, they even brought it up, it's by them being able to change, she's no longer the same her from the story world. She's just like, almost like a clone, like say Altair's power was more along the lines of making a blank, featureless human and imbuing them with the features of a fictional character. Because pretty much she can't really take the fictional character themselves out, because it wouldn't make sense for the world of the story, and we've seen that the world of the story carries on without them in it. Silesia's world carried on without her in it. There's a future to it because she was taken from the anime, not the light novels. So since there's a future to it, it's like it goes on without them. They're just a copy of the character in the story world put into the real world. It's almost like they're not even really that character. They are, but they aren't. It's complex, you know? So technically, even if they kill this version of her in the real world, the story version of her is pretty much immortal. Pretty much unkillable, I guess. Because if that's the case, and Altair can take them from any point in the story, not just the most recent point, like she did with Silesia, that means that she could go back and take an episode 3 Mamika out when she was still alive. Or an episode... even if she was killed off in, say, episode 11 of whatever her show was, she could take a version out of episode 3 and she would still be alive. And she could, I guess, technically pull out infinite Mamikas. So, yeah, pretty much I guess that's it. Also, one other thing I thought, there are a lot of people disliking Soda because he's risking people's lives by not telling people what he knows, and I agree with that, because I think even if his friend dying's traumatic to him, he has nothing to gain by hiding that. And nothing to lose by telling people, really. And when it comes to waifu, I've decided Mamika's my favorite character. I really like Mamika, but Magane is waifu. Them thighs and that maid outfit sealed that deal very hard. Then Deshaun Gamble replied with, Mamika, no, it's Magical Girl Raising Project all over again. We saw another magical girl die in front of us, assuming she's dead, but it's possible she's alive. I'm positive that Altair survived the attack somehow. Also, I'm also one of the people who's frustrated with Sota not telling everyone about Altair. I noticed in this episode when Magane confronted Sota on the issue, he seemed like he had some sort of panic attack. He had his right hand on his chest, breathing heavily. It seems clear to me that Sota did have a relationship with the girl, the creator of Altair, and bears the guilt about her suicide. He needs to seek help about his wounds in order to grow from this. Meteora is my waifu still. I love the scenes when she basically told Sota, I'm your friend, it's okay to talk to me about your problems. Magane in the maid outfit's cool, though. Her legs are too skinny for me, though, lol. The scene with Mamika and Altair was easily the best in the episode. Both their voice actors did amazing work. Hashtag pray for Mamika. Hashtag this isn't Magical Girl Raising Project, let her live. Also, I wonder what would happen if the creations die. Would they disappear from their stories? Who knows? I kind of covered that last point already, so I might not say anything more about that so I don't repeat myself and bore you guys, but yeah. From what I gather with Sota, from what I gather from what he said with Meteora when he was talking hypothetically, is he was jealous of how talented the friend was, so he started to push her away, but then she was depressed, and him pushing her away made it worse, but he didn't know about that, so she killed herself, and now he's all like messed up for being a dick to her before she died. But I think either way, even if that's terrible, risking other people's lives instead of talking it out is kind of stupid, because he pretty much blames himself for kind of being a part of that person dying, but not telling anyone is being even more of a part in people dying, I guess. So really, that's not good. And I'm not saying it's bad writing for him to be like this, because people do stupid things a lot of the time in real life, so I mean, in a way it's realistic. But I can say it's a bit annoying. Also, your boy likes thighs. Thick ones are the best, but skinny, still nice, and Magane, super sexy. I don't know if it's her voice or the crazy facial expressions, but she gets my soul. Also, I think, yeah, like I said before, the creations, it's like the creation in the real world and the one from the universe are almost two separate beings at this point, and they even bring it up that way, or I believe it's even Mamika that brings it up that way, like, I'm not my character, or it might have been the one guy from Exclusive Underground, I think was the title, where he's like, you know, I'm not the character in my character description anymore, my experiences have changed me, I can think for myself, I have free will, so he's pretty much a separate person from the person in the story, given that the person in the story still exists. And the person in the story does still exist, because Meteora played her own game that she was a part in. So yeah, the story still exists with them in it, even after they've been pulled out. So technically, even though Mamika died here, if Mamika really did die here, what if Altair just pulls out a second Mamika and tries to trick her over again? Like a second Mamika that doesn't have the memories of the first one and tries to trick her over again. That could be an interesting plot point. Just throwing that possibility out there as well. But yeah, because and some evidence for that already is that Altair lied to them about changing their world by having the creator change things, because what's happened in the world is kind of happened, and to make something new happen, they would need to just put out the next chapter, the next episode, and it would have to make sense within the context of the world. So, and if they write something about that character, the character can't be changed by having the author write something, because the character that's brought into the real world is essentially their own person now. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it at least. I like that it's a bit complex like that. It gives you something to think about. Next up, Tower of God comments. Gal Anonym says, oh how good it was. I knew that Urek would eventually own this arc. How epic do you have to be to punch the air, split the enormous lake of blood, make an explosion just like an atomic bomb, and rip apart your enemy's body, or rip a part of your enemy's body off while using 10% of your effing power. Just what? Okay, normally I don't like that. I'll start with whatever percent of my power, then I'll use another few percent, then maybe I'll show you my next form, but I can't help myself right now. I loved it. For me personally, I thought the percentage thing is great here because of how OP Urek is, and it shows like he's like an existence that's not the same as the characters we've seen so far. And I feel like even when they've made it twice as far up the chapter, when they're on the 80-something floor, they again probably will not have seen anything as crazy as Heljo, who has the power of a mini guardian, or Urek, who is one of the strongest beings alive, at least within the tower. So yeah, thinking about it like that really reminds me how special this arc is, because we haven't seen anything like this before in the series, and we're probably not seeing anything quite like this in quite a long time. So it's just a really interesting arc. It's very different. And while I do like it, I'm almost interested to see when we get back to the normal things where everybody is bomb and group level, how it'll be different there. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Next comment was Coolfu270 said, would it be possible that the anklet was from a prison or something? Because that would explain the function and Yuri's reaction. And I'll use that as the first part. I'll answer their comment in two parts. My thoughts on that is, I made a guess in the review while keeping your comment in mind, but I think my guess is that it's something the Zahard family uses to keep prisoners or slaves captured. Because it being something that the Zahard Empire or the Great Families use, that would explain why Yuri recognizes it, one part of the equation, and it being used to hold prisoners or slaves would explain why they have an invention that holds back people's power, their Shinsu use. So yeah, and that would explain the use of it, which is the other half. So that'd be my guess as to what it is, and it being used to hold slaves and prisoners, that explains its use, because maybe they haven't invented anything that can totally, completely seal off somebody's power or Shinsu, but at least they have the shackles that can seal 95% of it, so your average person with 95% of their power sealed wouldn't be able to stand against Zahard's empire or whatever, but Urek isn't your normal person. Urek's one of the only people that could probably resist them with only 5% power. Even then though, like, that's not the point. It's not intended to be on somebody like Urek. But yeah, I think it's maybe used for something like that, is to capture prisoners and stuff. Kind of like magic handcuffs. In the second part of their comment, they said, by the way, I've seen the role of the workshop in the tower is quite mysterious. I mean, they're from the outside of the tower, know the way to get out of the tower, have affiliation with FUG, but at the same time they created an artificial intelligence to become one of the proxies for Zahard, made the 13 months, and seemed to have a strong connection with the Pobidao family head. There are a lot of hints that the workshop played a somewhat important role in the tower, but nothing solid was revealed. What do you think? I can't say much other than what you said, because you pretty much explained what he said. Everyone is, or she, sorry, don't know your gender, but what they said is pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much everything we know about them. If anything, all I can say about them is I'm very interested to see more. I think there are a lot of organizations we've been, like, barely introduced to that I want to see a lot more of. FUG, for one, I want to see so much more of them. Walhaik-song, of course. Even though I think we've seen a good amount of Walhaik-song, for as far as we are in the story. The RED, I want to see so much more about the RED, and I guess kind of the Zahard Empire going in with that, and the Royal Guard, which I never really put the two together, but they said they've only mentioned the Royal Guard by saying that the head of the Royal Guard is is it Adori Zahard? Adori, yeah. So Adori is the head of the Royal Guard, but they've said that the RED, the Royal Enforcement Division, is like Zahard's personal super soldier unit or whatever, with only like 70 members. So are they the same thing, I wonder? And if so, that'd be cool if Adori was the head of the RED. And I guess the 10 families would be cool to see more of. The princesses, of course, and we know we're going to get quite a few princess arcs probably in the future, or princess heavy arcs at least, and the workshop in with that as well. I'd like to learn more about them and their structure and the artificially created people. There's just a lot that'd be interesting to learn about. And actually, I didn't know the Tower of God section was this short this week, but the third and last comment is Anime Watcher saying, The impact of Urek's punches reminded me of the panels in One Punch Man when Saitama does something really epic. I don't think Bomb would be able to reason with Dali, as Dali's clearly delusional and wouldn't be able to comprehend different viewpoints. Self-defense is the only rational response. I don't see Rachel dying next chapter, so I see Kun saving Rachel. Maybe as a way to get a favor from her. The art looks completely fantastic this week, to the point where most anime studios wouldn't be able to do this chapter justice. And I would agree with that, the art's absolutely crazy. I also think that Kun's team is going to save and temporarily team up with Rachel. One, because I doubt Kun would want to be in her debt for her saving him earlier, and two, because it's beneficial for them to work together when they have Dali there, who is a stronger opponent than them, and I don't think Kun's going to be able to trap him with the Anakor a second time. I think that's well, firstly because Beta's lighthouse was destroyed, and may I say it's good to see Beta in the flesh again. But other than that, it seems like Dali probably wouldn't fall for the same trick twice, you know. And I think Bomb would have about the same sort of issue with Dali that Rachel has. I think Bomb's a good person. There's no way he would ever say, okay, give me the thorn and let me leave and you can keep everyone trapped here. Bomb would want everyone to be freed as well. And then when he tried to say, okay, I want the thorn, I'm your savior, but free everyone as well, don't keep them trapped here, Dali would do the same thing, because that's what Rachel's telling him. Dali would turn on Bomb just like he turned on Rachel. So it's pretty much they would be in the same boat, whether it's Bomb or Rachel. Because they both have the same idea. I would say they do, because I just do not see it in Bomb's character for him to if he were to come in and not want to free everyone. And that's it, for Tower of God this week. Next up this week, One Piece comments. First up is Seek210, who said, this chapter was good, but I think after the break, I kind of wanted a little bit more from it. I do hate Big Mom too, and she kind of deserves what's going on and what's coming to her. Also, her personality and how she was brought up is pretty much, she just got away with anything she did and was told, oh, she's such a good girl, she isn't doing anything wrong. And it's thanks to Mother Caramel. And I wonder if this means that she's going to kill Mother Caramel by accident and wake up from it and realize what she did, and then blame the giants for it. Also, maybe not in the next chapter, but in another one, they explain how she got Loki to agree to marry Lola, because after seeing how she destroyed the town, how would she even be able to get a chance for something as big as that? I completely agree. I think that she's going to probably kill Mother Caramel and maybe not even notice, because we saw in her flashbacks where she was like, Mother Caramel, where'd you go? Why'd you leave? So maybe she kills her, she doesn't even notice, she doesn't even know what happened. And for me, I would guess that the Loki marriage thing is there were so many years after that happened, many, many, many years after that happened, and by then Elba probably didn't care quite as much, and even if they did still hold a lot of resentment there, Big Mom and her country, Totland, would be so powerful at that point that they may just want to ensure peace with their country anyway. And of course, I think they said Loki fell in love with Lola, so that could play a part in it too. East 1860 said, Nami got some nice scenes in this week's anime episode, Lenny Face, dem jubbly jiggles. And White Bear Beppo asked, what color scheme were you expecting for Praline? For me, I think the one they used would have been okay if they just toned it down so the makeup and stuff wasn't really, really colorful and cartoony and stuck out and looked really trashy and stuff. But basically that's it. I just wasn't expecting... I was expecting the colors to look normal or natural, and just not to be really, really cartoony. Also for her hair, I expected maybe a lighter blonde color, but I also saw a bunch of fan art after looking it up and fan coloring and stuff of her with blue hair, and I thought that looked pretty good too. So I think that would have worked well as well. The color schemes lately have been, oh man, there were a lot of people that complained about Gotti's color scheme. I hate the Vinsmoke's color scheme. Praline's color scheme could have been better, I'm saying, but yeah, and that's, once again, it for One Piece comments this week. Next up, we have Boku no Hero Academia comments, the first of which being Joke, saying, "Lol, Bakugo's cussing is one of the best parts of his character for me. Kirishima also gets a +1 for manliness. Also, kudos to the bitch that makes shit float this episode." I would agree with that, and I wanted to bring it up here in the video because I think for me, the cussing adds a lot to Bakugo's character. Different characters speaking in different ways, using different vocabularies, I think is very, very good and important, and I think the Fallen Angels manga translation does really well at portraying that. So yeah, I think the cussing adds a lot to the character for me, so I kind of wish they would really keep that a lot more in the official anime and manga translation. I know they have to censor a certain bit, because America's kind of retarded with word censorship, but I think that the cussing adds a lot to the character. Then Anime Watcher said, "Kachako is my ultimate fantasy," and I was like, you better believe your ass. Better than Uraraka x Izuku, in my opinion. And they said, "My man, preaching it like the word of truth." Just, for me, I prefer Uraraka x Bakugo. Now, that would mean that Izuku, I guess I'd be okay with him being with Hatsume. I think Izuku Hatsume isn't a bad ship. I hope shipping doesn't really happen, though, because there have been so many series that have been taken so far down by shipping. I mean, Fairy Tail has a million other problems other than shipping, but shipping was one of the million problems that made it shit. Shipping also hurt Naruto a lot. There was a lot that it made worse there. Shipping pretty much just drove a nail into the heart of Kisnaiver. So yeah, there have been a lot of series that shipping has hurt. So I hope this doesn't end up like this. End up like that. But yeah, as long as Izuku doesn't end up with Himiko Toga, I'm okay. Mostly because I like her and I feel like she's the kind of character where if they give her a sympathetic backstory and then have her become a good guy in order to have her and Izuku kind of hero that saves the villain kind of ship, I will not like that at all. I think that will really hurt her character. So just please no Izuku x Himiko, but Izuku x Hatsume, I could be okay with that. And please know, I hate the ship I think I hate most is Momo x Todoroki. If that happens, I will live stream hang myself or something. Just no, please do not do this to either Todoroki or Momo. Saddle their characters with a ship like that. Please no. Because I like both characters and I think the ship would not be good for either character. Seek2Sen said, I loved the fight as well, talking about the anime this week. Even though Uraraka didn't win, it was great character development for her, and also how determined she was to win the fight and went all out with some pretty good, clever tactics, though at the end Bakugo was too strong. Now I can't wait to see Deku versus Todoroki next week. Now, actually I've heard that Horikoshi, I don't know the facts on this, but I've seen multiple people say that Horikoshi, when he watched Deku versus Todoroki ahead of time and stuff, cried while watching it, seeing his work animated in such a good way. I am very excited to see it if it made the author themselves that made it cry. I am quite interested to see. I want to know what happens. Also, lastly, wow, moving through this. Oh, and this, I was just about to sit down and record when a notification popped up for this comment, so I haven't actually answered it yet in the comments. But Yurazuya, I always say Yurazuya at the beginning, sorry. White Barbeppo said, I forgot to mention this, but the characters were but the chapters where the art was super sketchy might not have been due to Koei's health, but more so to World Shonen Jump rushing the publication a day early, or something like that, because Black Clover also had the same sketching issues. Koei usually retouches his artwork on a lot of the volume releases. Boku no Hero Academia character artwork is my favorite in shonen manga, beating out One Piece, but One Piece still has my favorite setting art. Ryukyu is super bae, and the hero that pulled his hair out to form a sword. I love the character interactions of Boku no Hero Academia, such as Nejire commenting on Tsuyu's finger habit. I like that as well a lot. They said Fallen Angel / Jaimini's box usually comes out before Manga Stream. I trust their translations more than Manga Stream, but the faster release has me a bit hesitant because it can contain because it can contain error due to rushing. I still read Manga Stream, Fallen Angels, and Viz to get the best grasp on the translation, though. It's also confirmed that Koei loves to spend time on storyboards and does all the inking process apparently one day. Hard to imagine that inking in one day is possible, but it was from an interview, but I forgot which one it was. They may explain the reason why his art seemed rushed or sketchy at the time. Yeah, I figured it was just his health, but time makes total sense too. And I figured for those chapters that had a little bit more sketching, it was because they were the non-cleaned, non-volume release versions of it, and then they'd probably be released with, or they'd be replaced with the volume release versions when those come out on the site. So yeah, that's just what I figured either way, because I figured he probably touches up mostly all of them just to make sure they're really crisp before putting them out in volume format. Also, Ryukyu, yes, 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 yes. Too much Ryukyu in my heart. I can't handle it. She turned into I don't know why turning into a dragon suddenly made her so waifu, so attractive, so amazing. But it's just, I just got so hyped and so excited. I'm like, oh my god, she can turn into a dragon. And that has made me like this character so much. Especially, I noticed going back and making a render for the thumbnail of that video that she wears clothes when she's a dragon, and I'm like, oh my god, she's a dragon and she's wearing clothes. This is the cutest thing in the world, while simultaneously being such a badass thing. I love it. I freaking love Ryukyu. Ryukyu is a top tier waifu. She can turn into a freaking dragon. Like I said, I love just the little things they point out, and I noticed when she said it. Oh yeah, Suyu does do that a lot. Yeah, also, I'm going to be reading the Fallen Angels translation, because I've watched some Patch's live reactions after I've read them, so, I know from her live reactions that I'm pretty sure she reads Manga Stream, and, I just like Fallen Angels translation better. I like the way they word things better. I think it feels more natural, it feels more like real speech. And even if it's not as good, maybe is direct word to word, I like it more just as speech. I like the dialogue. So I'm going to stick with that for my live reactions each week. Then what else? Sorry it's getting kind of dark because I think it's about to storm, so I'm sorry if that makes the lighting a bit bad or the video lag a little bit because the lighting is bad, but that's why. Anything else I wanted to bring up? Oh, also for the art, yeah. I would say, like I said before, it's one of my favorite it's probably my second favorite manga art. Maybe even my first favorite manga art, and my second favorite is Manmusu, but either way, the two of them fight for first. And I think it's Okayado did hentai in the past, before he did non-hentai stuff like 12 Beast and Manmusu. But I think it's very interesting, and the reason I bring up that fact is because so many of my favorite manga artists have done hentai. And I think it's because you look at some of these artists, and like One Piece is an amazing story, but I look at the One Piece artwork, and I look at the artwork for 90% of the stuff I watch, or the stuff I read, and it's all the same angles, it's all just a character standing there with a nice background, and the character is just at a normal standing angle, or it's a face shot of the character or whatever. But I guess from having to draw sex scenes and stuff for hentai, and having people in a bunch of, I'm trying to say this without getting too lewd, but having people in a bunch of different positions and stuff, and shooting things from all kinds of different angles, not really necessarily shooting things, but drawing things from a bunch of different angles, I think that really helps them understand the way that certain things look a lot more, and scale and perspective, and just, I guess, anatomy, and drawing people in different poses and stuff. Because when I see stuff from Okayado, there's just so many different angles and different poses that you don't typically see, and I see that in both. I doubt Horikoshi doesn't seem like the type. I doubt they've done hentai, but I see the same thing with them, where it's just like the angles they use, and the different stances and angles and stuff they do for characters. and different poses they do. It's just so different from what you see in 90% of stuff, which I really, really like. And that is it for Boku no Hero Academia this week. Now, lastly, or at least I believe, Magical Girl Raising Project is last. Lastly's Magical Girl Raising Project. Again, sorry if it's getting a little bit stormy. I'm gonna try to discuss this as thoroughly as possible while kind of moving along, being a little bit quick with it so I don't waste too much time and all that. Andrea Zapita said about something I said in the video about Melville, lol, you want your new waifu to be good. I guess I understand that feeling, as at this point I love all the characters. I do as well. But for me personally, I just think that having Melville be evil would be a little bit disappointing since she looks like she would be evil. And I don't want to judge somebody based on their appearance like that. And like the only reason I have to think that she's evil is just that she looks like Clanberry. So I'm judging her like I don't want her to be evil because that would mean my judgment based on her appearance was right. And that would make it too easy, that'd make it too predictable, for just a simple reason like that. And I also threw in, lol, my waifu looks like a cranberry confirmed. My waifu's a cranberry. Also, Clantail, Melville, Shadowgale, I was like, they are the waifu trinity right now. I like every character except for Akane. She kind of just, I was like, she kind of just showed up, tried to kill people, and then died without any look at her character or personality. So, I guess that's what that is. And Andrew Zapita said, Akane got magicaloided really hard. Nice waifu choice you have there. Then I was like, yeah, and Cherna got rulered really hard. And I also like Detic, but I like her for her brain a lot more than her body. And they replied, yeah, I love Belzy because she's smart, even though she's not the best in design. I think she's really cute. Yeah, I think Detic Bell, she has a really cute design. I like her design. I won't see anything bad about it. I really like it, in fact. But it's not the best out of all of them. But I really like how smart she is. I'm really into that, and I really like her as a character because of that. I love really intelligent characters. It's just something that I enjoy in any kind of TV show, movie, anything. I like really intelligent characters. Andrew Zapita also said, the new Pacific Rim movie looks amazing. And I joked about it. I was like, okay, we go from first season, magical girls cry and suffer a lot, to second season, giant lolly fights mecha tank. They said, now you know why we want this second season so badly. And related to that, Deshaun Gamble said, finally you made it to Spider Tanku, another scene I wanted animated. And yeah, giant lolly versus mecha tank. Andrew Zapita also said about Shadowgale, lol, she did it. She kicked her just like she wanted to. And I was like, top 5 Shadowgale life moments. One of waifu's crowning life achievements. Andrew Zapita said, hashtag RIP Goblin Kun won't be forgotten. Because yes, poor Goblin Kun, Weeb Miko wife, which is Nanako, used him. She used my boy Goblin Kun. And Andrew Zapita said he will always be remembered, though we only lived for like 2 chapters. Poor Goblin Kun. Goblin Kun has not had a good life. He was used. Or what was it that what's her face? I don't even remember her name anymore. I'm trying to remember the girl from Grimgar. I was trying to think what the girl from Grimgar called the goblins. Gobchin? The Gobs. Poor Gob. Seek210 said, I'm really loving Magical Girl Raising Project, because I told him last week that, because they asked me about it, and I was like, it's really great, go read it and all. They said, I'm now on chapter 2 of the second arc. I didn't think it was going to be pretty dark, but it's great and entertaining, and it keeps me guessing as to what's going to happen next. And that is awesome. I'm really, really glad you're enjoying it. Magical Girl Raising Project, for me, it's probably the series that I have been most hyped about lately, even with all the other great anime and manga going on that I'm following, so many great things happening, but I still am most hyped about MGRP. Or MSIC. I like that acronym better. It's much easier to say. Deshaun Gamble said, Clantail, oh yes. Clantail's lewdness intensifies with spider form while she shoots out white stuff, lol. So about Genocyco's return, because I saw the character sheet which lists the magical skills, I made a theory when I read Restart for the first time, and I was actually right, but I won't say it here. Also, Akane's backstory gets explained in the episode short stories. Looking forward to your reaction to those if you're doing them. Cherna received a surprise at the end that was too big even for her. I honestly didn't know how that happened at first. Only the truth behind her death was revealed, only after the truth behind her death was revealed did it make sense to me. All I'll say is the person behind it was clever about it. Even I didn't see it coming. And yeah, all that I read for when that scene happened was, it was talking about Clantail, and it said, like, she shot white stuff out of her backside, and I was like, whoa, you guys saw it in my research. I was like, hold on, what? She has to be a spider. This is the explanation. I'm assuming she's spider form, because it didn't say anything about her having 8 legs or her being a spider. The first thing it said was that she shot white stuff out of her backside. I was like, what? Yeah, I'm glad I didn't read the character descriptions, because it keeps me guessing and lets me just find out stuff as I read along. But I'm figuring I think most of them will be developed a lot. Most of the characters will be developed a lot more in episodes, so of course I am going to read them. They'll be next in the read through because I'm following Maverick Alpha's order. They said Maverick Alpha's order is law. Andrew Zapita said Clantail shooting white sticky stuff against her enemies. Let's not forget she did that to Petchka when they met. Mwah. Yes. Deshaun Gamble said, I wish Clantail would shoot white stuff at me. Back to the corner I go. And Andrew Zapita said, that's interesting, because I also want that. And Deshaun, you need to be sent to the corner too. We can be corner buddies. And if that is the case, then the whole channel might as well be a corner, because I too want Clantail to give me the stick. Give me the stick, Poppy. The stick. Then, Marco Polo said, hey, what's with the Clantail looting 2017? What's with the Clantail looting? Why'd you left me out? Anyway, here's something for you, Haku, because we need milk. And left a picture of the milking possibilities. But moving along, I wanted to bring up that don't worry if you post links here and they don't show up when you first comment them. And it happens a lot too, I've noticed. If somebody likes... I can tell if you like in your own comments. But it happens a lot if somebody likes their own comment. Like if they like their own comment, if they talk about using certain words like channel or YouTube or something, I guess to try to counter spam and stuff. But there's an automatic approval folder that it sends stuff like that to, and anything with a link it sends to the approval folder. Except occasionally it doesn't for whatever reason. But I go through there every time I read my comments and just approve everything that's not actually legitimately spam. So yeah, if it doesn't show up right when you post it, just figure that I haven't gone and I haven't looked at it yet to approve it. But like I said, unless something's like really, really bad, unless somebody's like attacking somebody, or if it is just legitimately spam, I never delete anything or I never disapprove anything, you know? So yeah, I wanted to bring that up just in case any of you ever have that problem in the future. Also, that picture, I think, is when I officially fell in love, because I did not think of, and of course her lower half was a cow and stuff, I did not think of the milking possibilities. Also, Petchka's face in the picture made me laugh a lot. But, Deshaun Gamble said, you can tell from Clantail's face that she loves to be useful to the team. Also, the fact that there are such possibilities I hadn't even realized shows me that Clantail is best girl, and none of the other 15 for me even close anymore. Because I hadn't even really thought about it, and I think I kind of started thinking about it because I was like, oh my gosh, if she has milking possibilities, what other capabilities does she have as waifu? And I'm like, oh my god, she could make her lower half a chicken, and you could have eggs. Like, imagine if this was reality and stuff, you marry Clantail in her human form and all, you would never need to go to the grocery store. She turns into the cow, you have milk. She turns into a chicken lower half, you have eggs. And because it seems as though, because of the spider lower half, it seems her lower half is made proportional to the upper half. That means that they'd probably be giant eggs, or hell, she could just make her bottom half an ostrich and you'd have giant eggs. And that would mean egg-laying possibilities as well. Damn. cloaca possibilities. Or she could make her bottom half a giraffe, and she could reach stuff on high shelves. She is the most useful waifu ever. She could be tall. Like, the Clantail is literally the most useful waifu ever that lived. So moving along from that, Andrea Zapita said, the best fighter, Noko-chan with her mop +5. Clantail becoming a spider waifu just gives her more points as a waifu. Well, too bad that Cherna got rulered hard, too. I don't know. Could be anyone, as Fle's probably the type that doesn't like to get her ass handled to her, and Belzy was already tired of Cherna's shit, so who knows. Fall's the real MVP, my favorite mascot. Mop +5, my favorite weapon, the best weapon. Mop +5, best weapon. Noko-chan, just such a precious cupcake using her mop. I would love Clantail, no matter what her bottom half is. Clantail is great. I wonder if she can just make her bottom half human anytime she wants. Also, I wonder, it's technically still her bottom half. Does she have no shame? Why does she not wear clothes on that thing? Okay, enough thinking about the Clantail possibility, the Clantail capabilities. In fact, no matter what her bottom half was, it'd make it better. Yet, I think for me, for who caused Cherna to die, like somebody had brought up earlier, there's a lot of possibilities. I think Fle and Detic are the most likely culprits. It'd be very easy for Fle to do it. Somebody could have switched phones with her at some point, and when you were talking about figuring it out, I don't want to think too deeply into it, because I don't like overthinking things and then actually solving it, you know? There's a reasonable amount I like to think about things. But I think that, I would say that if there was a way that they did it and it was kind of hinted at, maybe it had something to do with, what's-her-face, with Fle's math. Because she said that she did the math in her head and she immediately blurted it out. Well, if nobody else went back and checked her math, she could have just said something to kind of screw over Cherna. Or something like that. So that is possible. Or somebody could have done a phone switch. Lots of things could have happened. So yeah, if I'm forgetting a certain thing about magical phones. But either way, what else was I saying? I think it'll be interesting to see everybody's reaction, because realistically I feel like everybody should freak out because somebody is actually dead in real life now. That somebody being Cherna. But another part of me is like, will they actually be okay with this murder? This was murder, but will they actually just be okay with it since Cherna was being a dick? Also, I love reading Fall's lines a lot when I'm doing the read-throughs, because they just feel really nuanced and desperate, and the way he speaks is just, it's such a unique character that I really enjoy reading Fall's lines. So yeah, if you're out there anywhere, English dub companies, when they make a season 2 and you need somebody to voice Fall, pitch my voice really high, you got yourself a Fall voice actor. I really enjoy Fall. Andrew Speeder replied, you're such a creep and weirdo, I love it. Well, thanks, I guess. Damn. Said, because that applies to me too. Ah, yes, Noko-chan, the little cupcake who tries her best with the most lethal weapon. The two smartest girls are your major suspects, and that makes sense to me. I was forgetting that they'll likely celebrate that Cherna's gone because she was delaying things and making everything more difficult. Fall's my baby and he needs to be protected. Thanks, I guess, though. But honestly, for me, I've said it before, you guys know this by now. I like Monster Girls, I like Kimono, I like all of that stuff. And I think it'd be weird if I just awkwardly hit it and was weird. Like, it'd be creepy if I was like, hey, Monster Girls. And like, I don't know. I guess being like awkward and ashamed of it is kind of weirder. But I think the thing is, I'm confident enough and just, I speak to people and treat people normally and equally. I think that what I enjoy, unless it was something bad, if I enjoyed something bad, then yeah, fuck me if I enjoyed something bad. But if I just enjoy something, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I'm confident in how I treat people and all that. And I think the same people that look at me weirdly for liking Monster Girls, I kind of think people are weird if they're like super, super into sports. It's just, they don't get it being what I like, and I don't get it being what they like. So that's just something in life, you know? At least that's the way I try to be. Also, I will be sad if/when Noko is not protected. I think it's pretty sad that Cherna died, because it means her real life self is dead out there somewhere, you know? Even if she was frustrating, that's pretty sad. Also, just bringing this up, I'm going to throw this in, special bonus. They said, 6 people could team up and defeat the Demon King? If only 6 can survive, I'm going to make my guess at the 6th. Out of... Let's do it team by team, because that's easier to remember. We'll need 6. I'll lift up my fingers as I think of them. I'll use these 6. First up, I'll do Flez team. From Flez team, the only 2 left are Plan and Shadowgale. I could see, unless they betray each other, I see both surviving. Because I think they can tell an interesting story of the relationship between the 2. I'm going to stick with the 2 for now. Let's see, who's another team that'd be easy to discuss? From Noko-chan's team. I honestly, at Nyan Nyan, could survive, but I don't see it that much. Just a guess. This is just a guess. I don't have any evidence. I'm just making guesses off the top of my head, really. Yumenashima, even if she's technically alive still, I don't think she'll be alive till the end. Noko-chan, though, I can see Noko-chan surviving. I can also see Noko-chan dying, but I can see her surviving. Then next would be Melville's team, Detik's team. I see Detik surviving. Detik's one I see surviving. I see Lapis Lazuli surviving as well. And I want Melville to be a good girl and survive. But Melville is tenuous. Hold on, because I still haven't talked about Team Clantail. I could see all of them dying. I see Miyakata dying. I don't see Miyakata surviving, sadly. Rionetta, I could see going either way. Clantail, I lean more to the side of surviving than dying, because I don't think there's that great a death they could do for her. But I think that may be biased because I really like the character. Rionetta, though, I'm going to say no, Rionetta dying because, like I said early in the series, she's a doll girl. There's so many ways that a doll girl could be killed. So just because of her being a doll girl and having the possibility for some really cool deaths, I think that they're going to kill her because of that. And Petchka, I said this about Snow White in Arc 1 and I was wrong. I made a prediction that Snow White would have this tragic main character death that she didn't get. So either Petchka's going to get the tragic main character death, or it's just going to be like Snow White again and Petchka's going to survive. So I'm going to keep my 6 as being, what was it? Lapis Lazuli, Detik Bell, didn't want to flick everybody off there. Lapis Lazuli, Detik Bell, Fleh, Shadowgale, Fleh, Shadowgale, then who else was I saying? I don't know. Noko-chan and Melville, but Melville could be replaced with Petchka if they don't go. I see Petchka dying just because I saw the tragic main character death in the first season, but they didn't do it, so I'm gonna maybe hold on to that. My last spot's gonna go to Melville, but possibly Clantail. Melville or Clantail, one of those two. Of course, less than 6 could survive, more than 6 could survive, but if that 6 at the beginning of the volume was important, then that would be my guess. Next up, Andrew Zepeda said, that's something I can respect. Wow, I got so off track with this. If you remember what we were talking about before, that's something I can respect. Not everybody feels comfortable or confident enough to tell others things like that directly. Kinda sad. Also, hashtag protect the little cupcake 2017. I guess that's actually really depressing, but let's not forget that it happened to Daisy and Masked Wonder too, even Akane. Wonder what Akane was like in real life, because, again, we didn't get to know anything about her in the, I wonder what they were all like in real life, but especially Akane, we didn't get to really know anything about her. Yeah, and all of the suffering is because of Master Glasses-chan and her room made of monitors. And I was like, but oh well, eventually Snow White's gonna come in like a savior and hit her with the fire extinguisher, which is the second strongest weapon in Magical Girl Raising Project, right behind Mop +5. And then last for this week, trying to get through this because my computer's running low on batteries, Shrine94 said, we have actually seen Melville's power already back when she was introduced. Yeah, HaQ&A didn't really do much in Restart. I mean, the other characters don't even learn her name. Team Clantail's interactions are great, especially with Rionetta and Miyakata. I agree so much with that. Fall's my favorite male character. Apologies to Lapicel. I also really like the whole ending of the chapter with the magical candy event. It's probably possible to find out how Cherna died here, but I think most people will miss it. The culprit was clever in how they set it up. Anyways, thanks for the read-through. I'll be looking forward to next week's. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going to try to not guess too much about it. Yeah, I noticed during, I didn't notice when I was recording, and I just tried to think of everybody's power on the top of my head. Yeah, of course, we saw that she can camouflage herself. But I remembered it because I was thinking earlier about it, Yumenashima and how she could possibly be alive. And I had come up with 4 options, and you commenting that gave me the opportunity to talk about it, so thank you. But basically, here are the 4 options for Yumenashima being alive. I see, of course, no spoilers, please. Please don't tell me the actual answer. But my 4 options were, A, it has something to do with Lapis Lazuline's power, because it's the only power out of all 16 of them that we haven't seen explained in some way. Even if it's just a brief mentioning what it is, we haven't seen it even mentioned yet, really. So, not specifically. So Lapis's power is option A. Option B, it has something to do with Rionetta's power, and her power can extend as far as her being able to make corpse puppets. Option C is that it has something to do with Shadowgale's power, and she has the ability to repair or improve bodies like she does to other things. And Flea seems like the wily kind of type that would have had Shadowgale to do that and then hide her so that they could use her later on. And then option D is that it's just somebody outside of those 16, like the Master, or somebody that's making a play on their own. Also for me, I tend to consider Lapicel female, but not because there's any evidence behind that, pretty much just because I want to. Don't let my dreams not be dreams. Yeah, I thought the magical candy event scene was great. Because it happening, I predicted it right before it happened. I was like, oh, well, of course they're going to kill whoever is the least. So it was a bit predictable, and it took a chance. It took a chance of being too close to just repeating ideas from Arc 1. But I think it did really great, because it gave us, it didn't repeat the idea, it just gave us some Arc 1 nostalgia, while being unique and having everyone work together. I think having everyone work together to change it from Arc 1 was great. And yeah, that is it. That is it for the final comment this week. So this is already an hour-long video. I'm going to try to hurry up with this. I hope it didn't lag too much when it was kind of dark and cloudy and stormy looking. So that is it. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me anything you want, anything you thought about, anything I said here, anything you want to discuss next week. Anything like that. Subscribe if you're not already for all this and more. Follow on Twitter if you want to try to keep you updated there and stuff with the channel. That's it. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.